Jason McLean faces his arch nemesis. The earth is flat all around his tonight's hypothesis. His enemy is the rapper Kanye West. The anti-Semitic MC is his test. Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. Tonight we find out which one is the best. Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. That flat earth bullshit is put to the test. Tonight, Jason unleashed his inner rage, gonna spank the Kanye West in the fight cage. The anti-Semitic flat earth rapper, what does Kanye think? Man, doesn't matter. Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. And make we find out which one is the best. Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. That flat earth bullshit is put to the test. Tonight let Jason and Kanye fight. Flat earth put to the ultimate test. Hero versus rapper will test their might. Oh shit, says Donnie, the violent type. Dipping in Jason's Kanye neck cleavers. The cross, but now it has light. Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. Our goals are all our mark tonight, got time. Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. That flat earth bullshit is put to the test.
All right, guys. We did not stick the landing with that one, did we?
No, we did not.
Damn you, AI. We were so close, but we couldn't stick the landing.
Well, I kind of figured you would actually have us pulled up while the thing was running, so we would just at least pop up. Yeah, but no, this is part of it's AI, part of it's you. You both blew it, but that's okay.
We blew it.
But that's okay.
It's
all
okay.
Good, because unlike my my arch nemesis, at least you only blew a landing. So I would like to thank you for bringing me on and allowing us to have this moment to finally face off personally, because people may not have known this, but yes, I made my Flat Earth videos on Siru because Kanye West and I have had a beef for about 20 years now.
It's been going on for a while.
It has.
He really is your arch nemesis.
Yeah, I mean, we've kind of kept it out of the radar because I didn't want to upstage like Taylor Swift and all that. So it's just this has been a long fuming sort of battle, and finally, I think it's time for us to come out and deal with this face to face. And I appreciate you doing that, Donnie.
And for the folks listening at home, yes, Kanye West is going to be the representative for the Flat Earth side.
Yes.
Mr. McLean here has been, I don't know if you guys have been following or keeping up with Jason's content lately, but, he has recently resurrected Siru Papers, and his past few episodes have been about the topic of Flat Earth. So if you guys have not watched that, go check it out on Siru Papers. Where he does it from the biblical point of view, and his nemesis to that point of view is our guest tonight, who has joined us to face off with his nemesis, Jason McLean, and that individual you may know, folks listening, you may be familiar with his name, is Kanye West. So, Mr. West, as a host of Donnie Cho Says Stuff, I would like to be the first to welcome you to my show, and thanks for coming.
Thank you, Donnie Choke. Thanks for having me and give me this platform to defend my people and my people's position on the shape of the earth, which certain people in our midst would be so quick to disparage. And I'm talking about that Bible-thumping Zionist friend of yours, Jason McLean.
Why you got? Why you got to be disparaging his peoples, yo? Jason.
What does he mean by his people exactly?
Well, I guess Mr. West here if you could just clarify, where this beef stems from.
Like Jason McLean, the same homie who probably believes in all that bullshit like gravity and the sun and moon going around the earth. This motherfucker believing he Galileo or some shit. And I, Kanye West, and duty bound to stand up for truth and to oppose people like Jason who stand in its way.
That's a pretty serious accusation there, Jason.
Well, it
He's
is.
saying that you stand in the way of truth.
Well,
What do you have to say about that?
Well, I think that's rather ironic, considering he's perpetuating one of the great lies of the 20th and 21st centuries, and really even the 19th centuries, which is something that we've already established: gravity, the spherical nature of the Earth, heliocentrism. Plain established facts. They're obvious that he would go out of his way to perpetuate such a falsehood. And I can't help but notice that he's sort of bypassed my whole question about who his people are.
Well, Kanye,
I'm assuming he means flat earthers. That's who I'm assuming he means.
Well, if you could just clarify your point of view, Mr. West, for myself and for your nemesis here, Jason, what do you have to say for yourself?
Hey, Jason, I saw your shit on C-Roo Papers or whatever the fuck you call that little show of yours. My man's over here using some old-ass Hebrew shit to justify some motherfucking round earth. Funny that you use the language of the oppressors to make your point, homie.
The oppressors?
Yeah, that's essentially that he's completely bypassing my question for just clarification, but that's fine. I understand how flat earthers work. The oppressors.
Well, because he's talking about his peoples. So, yeah, Mr. West, if you could just clarify, like, who are your peoples?
Mr. Galileo over here be representing the voice of the Zionist oppressors. Meanwhile, I'm over here representing my peoples. You ever hear of them before? They're known as the ancient motherfucking Egyptians. And my people invented the notion of flat earth. So how about them apples, Jason McLean?
Yeah, Jason, how about them apples?
Hold on. How is he Egyptian?
Yeah, like,
I don't know. The Egyptians were Asiatics. Was Egyptian? Yeah, I mean, he's descended from sub-Saharan Africa, right? That's sort of the... Oh, you know what this is? He's pulling Black Africanism. We talked about this on your show, right?
Oh, that Cleopatra on Netflix shit?
Yeah. It's a really racist movement to claim that everything on the continent of Africa belongs to the Black Africans, and that everything that happened in North Africa they were actually Black. They weren't the Asiatics that we know that are painted literally on the murals were there. It's a very racist move. Not something I'm surprised by. I just find it hilarious that someone who's claiming Egyptian history would call the Hebrew people oppressors, considering they're the ones that, enslaved the Jews, but whatever. Again, I think asking rationality of Kanye West is kind of...
Well, his opinion on the Jews. So
yeah. I'm fascinated by this whole Egyptian thing. Like they created the flat Earth idea. I mean, everyone had it. What would the Egyptians have to do with anything?
Yeah, I mean, did the Egyptians even... I thought they were one of the earliest people to show that the Earth was round.
Yeah. I mean, they actually did.
By circumnavigating the southern tip of Africa and noticing...
Yeah, they were... Yeah, it was a lot of... there was a lot of Egyptian math that was done because they did that. They actually went down to the south of the southern tip of Africa, and they noticed that certain parts of the sky looked different. The sun was in a different place at different times. The constellations were different. It was those measurements that allowed the Greeks to say, okay, hold on, something's going on. In fact, it was in North Africa that Eratosthenes basically proved not just the shape of the Earth, but the size.
Yeah.
And in fact, interesting point, we don't really know it was he used stadia. So everyone says, oh, he was within 10% of the Earth's actual size. The problem is we don't really know which stadia he was using. This is a big point everyone talks about with ancient measurements, right? Is that we're like, oh, a cubit was 18 inches, and it's like, no, a stadia was this many inches. We don't know how long these things were. because they were different lengths at different times in different contexts. So it's entirely possible that Eratosthenes actually got it, like, was spot on. But yeah, I mean, the Egyptians knew the Earth was round before almost anybody else because of their travel. So I'm surprised he keeps pointing to the Egyptians on this.
Yeah, Mr. West, do you think you could just clarify? Because it was my understanding that it was the opposite, that the Egyptians actually proved the Earth was round, but you're saying that they invented flat Earth? Could you please, I don't know, expound on that?
You know how Graham Hancock be talking about them pyramids being a representation of the Earth with all them ratios and shit? Well, what shape were them bitches, huh? They round? Nah, yo. They flatter than a motherfucker.
They're not even flat. They're pyramidal shape. We actually use the phrase
I guess
pyramid.
the sides are flat. Oh.
I mean, the base is flat, but the pyramids are they're triangular. What? It's not. The pyramids aren't flat, Kanye. What are you talking about? This is nuts, dude. I mean, this is crazier than you usually are. Donnie, you're muted. You've muted yourself, sir.
You accuse him of being crazy, Jason. I don't think he takes kindly to that.
Well, I'm sorry.
I think he's a little sensitive about that, you know.
I'm a biblical paranormal researcher. I calls him as a season.
Yo, why you gotta be taking those personal digs at me, dog? I'm just over here trying to have a motherfucking intellectual conversation and shit. It's you, Jason McLean, who's got to make all this shit personal, son. Donnie, tell this Bible nerd to chill the fuck out.
Yeah, chill the fuck out, Jason. Stop calling our guest crazy.
I mean, hasn't he been calling me a Zionist this entire time? And didn't he accuse me of standing in the way of truth? I'm sorry, truth. Let me, actually quote him appropriately. This is just, I mean, I'm asking questions that he won't answer, so I don't know what to do here. You know, I mean, it looks like he's being, he's erasing Egyptian history. To be honest, he's claiming them as sub-Saharan Africans, and he's disrespecting their actual work in proving the Earth was round, and then he doesn't even know what a pyramid is. So I'm just kind of confused as to his point here.
Well, Mr. West, do you have I don't know, any other points or maybe examples through history that might strengthen your viewpoint that the Earth is indeed flat?
You know who else thought the Earth was round? Christopher motherfucking Columbus. Homie thought he could sail to India, and how did that turn out? A bunch of dead motherfucking Native Americans. My man Columbus thought them bitches were a bunch of motherfucking Hindus or some shit.
I don't know how that strengthens his argument. I mean, if anything, it just proves the Earth was round. But he's perpetuating a myth that Columbus was proving the Earth was round. Everyone already knew the Earth was a sphere. Again, the Greeks knew, the Egyptians knew. Everyone knew and accepted that the Earth was round. And he was actually trying to find Japan. The idea that he was trying to find India is stupid. Okay, can we put Kanye on pause for just a moment? He's been ranting about insane things here. I guess the MK Ultra is kicking in a little ultra tonight. This is one of those big myths that the reason we call the American Indians is because of India. It was Hindustan until the partitioning of Hindustan and Pakistan in post World War II. The confusion is literally due to the British, so go blame them for that. But the American Indians got the name because it came from the Spanish. It was En Dios de Dios. So it was the children of God. That was the name the Spanish gave to the indigenous peoples of the Americas. That's where we get Indian from. So he's perpetuating that myth. He actually thought they were trying to find a way to Japan because they knew where Japan was. In fact, the big argument we need to do a whole conversation about Christopher Columbus at some point. But everyone said that going that direction was a bad idea because they knew the distance and the size of the Earth. They said you couldn't sail that far. And by the way, he couldn't have with that technology. What saved him is that the Americas were there, but I think he actually knew they were there. It's a long conversation. So, but again, I don't see how that really bolsters your claim, Kanye, considering Columbus coming here is proof that the Earth is a sphere and not a flat plane that
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
fall
score
off
that
of.
one for our good friend here, Jason McLean. You know,
Yeah. Does he have another
Mr. Kanye
point?
West. Do you have any other points? I mean, you're kind of on the ropes here, my friend.
Donnie, when you go outside, do you see a curve even on planes? No, you don't. I've been on lots of planes and I ain't never seen no curve.
Like that's okay. This is very common in the flat Earth community to say, "Well, I look and I don't see a curve." Well, yeah, because it's really big. The Earth is very, very large. You have to be really high. You have to be really far away to actually see the curve. Same thing. If you take a basketball and you zoom in really close, you can't see the curve. It looks flat. Now, our eyes can't see the curve, but you can
Yo,
show.
dog, you know who else? Yo, dog, I ain't appreciate.
Sorry.
Well, okay, Kanye, that was very rude, trying to interrupt while I'm making a very valid
Yeah,
point.
Kanye, don't interrupt, man.
Yo, why you gotta be taking those personal digs at me, dog? I'm just.
You're the one interrupting, dude. Why don't you shut the fuck up for a change and let my man speak here?
It's very rude. And you see what I put up with for 20 years.
God
So
damn.
this is why we had to do this. The man is insufferable. So yeah, I mean, you can't really see it with the naked eye, but you can see the curve when you understand that things further away disappear from the bottom down or the bottom up. They don't just go further and further and they just get smaller and smaller and smaller. They start to disappear. This is again one of those points. The Greeks and the Egyptians both noticed this, that when a ship is sailing away, it just seems to go, as it gets smaller, it goes down, right? The hull disappears and then the mast disappears. And they thought that was weird because they both understood perspective. I'm a professional artist. I understand perspective. And if something is far, what happens is it gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It should not get smaller, but then go down. The only reason is because it's literally going over the curve. So while you can't see it with the naked eye unless you're really, really high up, you can see the effect of the curve. And something, in fact, a great example of seeing the effect of the curve is in a plane. Because think about it, when you're looking at, if you're in a really high like hill, right? And you look out on a very clear day, you can see it, the horizon is very sharp, right? It doesn't fade out or anything. It's a very solid line, right? You can see that. They claim, flat earthers, that the reason like I can't see Waco from my house is because of there's so much material, water vapor, gases, things like that in the air that it makes it impossible to see it. Right? It's sort of like fog. Like essentially, like when there's a lot of fog, you can't see through it. Essentially, it's that, but just because of the distance. That's why I can't see Waco or Austin from my house or New York. Right? That's their claim. Well, the thing is, again, clear day, so there's no atmospheric conditions. If you stand on a really tall hill and you can see out to the horizon, that horizon line is always crisp. But when you're in an airplane and you're flying, as Mr. West claims to have done so often, that's when you start seeing things at a very far distance. You start having that atmospheric it's actually called atmospheric perspective, when things become less and less clear. This is why in a lot of paintings or even photographs, you'll notice that like mountains in the far distance will appear purple, right? It is the effect of those gases in our atmosphere. But that's when you start seeing, you have to be really high up in a plane to see or to have that horizon appear as sort of a misty, sort of N64, you've reached the end of the map kind of thing.
Well, Mr. West, do you have anything to say for yourself? Maybe, I don't know, if we're going to go through Like the logical, if the logical aspect or the historical aspect of this argument is not going to work out for you, maybe we could do some theological, biblical stuff, Jason. What do you think? I mean,
I think
this
that
guy did, after all, I think at one point he did claim to be Jesus.
Yeah, for someone who claims to be a god, I've found most Greek myths to be far more self-aware than Kanye. But please, since you are a god, let's use the Bible, sir.
Yo, dog, I ain't appreciating your motherfucking tone, sir. I'm a multi-time Grammy-winning artist with multiple platinum records. What have you done? Write a couple books about some motherfucking Bigfoots? Nobody gives a shit about no Bigfoot. So why don't you sit your Zionist ass down?
Again,
Whoa,
with the insults.
He just insulted us. He insulted both of us there.
Well, he insulted everyone who pursues the scientific, evidence of Bigfoot. So again, very off topic. I think there's lots of people who care about Bigfoot, sir. But again, biblically, since that's really what my videos were about, was addressing those arguments. Do you have anything to say about the earth from the Bible?
Okay, Bible nerd, how about Genesis 1, verse 6 through 8? Bible be mentioning the motherfucking firmament. Do you know what that firmament is, dog? That's a motherfucking dome that hangs like a ceiling over the earth. That shit is only possible if the earth were flat. Take that, Mr. McLean.
So that's a really great point, and it's one of the few points that flat earthers make that has actual biblical value. The problem is it's really a translational issue. I didn't address this in my videos, so I appreciate having this opportunity to sort of clarify this. Yes, the Hebraic understanding was the same understanding everybody had, right? Was that there was a vaulted dome over the earth, right? That the earth was flat, that there was this vaulted dome, which is because that's why you see the sun and the moon, and that makes perfect sense because they move in what looks like a very, dome-like fashion. The thing is, the Bible never actually says the earth is flat. It is written from that perspective, as I talked about. But what's really important here is the word that is translated as firmament is rakia in Hebrew. And what's really funny about that is while it is, again, in the Hebraic conception that there's this dome over the earth, rakia actually means expanse or even foundation. It is something that's hammered out, right? It's often used for the root word rather is like used a lot for metalworking, hammering something out. So it really means expanse, and it can also serve as a flat base. It is associated with the word firmament because that was the Greek word originally. Or I'm sorry, I think firmament is technically the Latin version, but it comes from Greek. So it's not that they did not believe that there was a dome. They did, but the word itself doesn't specifically mean dome. It actually means expanse. So it does mean something solid, and it was designed to keep the waters above, right? In fact, I don't go into this in the video. It may be something I go into more detail in the future. But what we have is the waters of the abyss or chaos that is being separated, and the expanse is what protects us from the waters above. And the sun, moon, and stars are underneath this firmament, right? This expanse, this rakia. So it's really interesting that this is a point that the flat earthers use when it's very misleading because the word does not mean dome. In fact, the word that is used means expanse, not specifically dome. They are again appealing to the understanding that the Hebrews had of the time, which was everyone's assumption, which is that it was a vaulted dome, but the word does not specifically mean vaulted dome.
Well, Kanye West, do you have any other examples or points from the Bible you would like to throw at our Bible nerd friend here?
Okay, explain this one, Bible nerd. Daniel 4:10-11. The Bible be talking about this motherfucking tree that's visible from everywhere on the earth and shit. How would that shit even be motherfucking possible unless the earth was flat? What do you got to say for yourself now, homie?
Well, first of all, I don't appreciate the use of language in public like that, sir. That's very.
He is a entertainer.
He
you
is
know how those people are.
An entertainer. Yeah. No, and I'm just saying, it's bad manners, sir. It's bad manners. However, I find it interesting that he's appealing to Daniel 4, which is a dream Nebuchadnezzar has. It's a dream. What? That's not even teaching anything. It's just Nebuchadnezzar had a dream about a tree. Now, it's a very important dream from a prophetic standpoint, but yeah, this is a pretty stupid point. I'm sorry. I can't, like, it's like saying, well, I had a dream that unicorns farted, rainbows that turn into ice cream. So why are we buying Bluebell? It's a non sequitur. I'm sorry, that's a stupid point. It's a dream a dude had. It's not the Bible saying this is the shape of the earth or this has anything to do with the earth.
Yeah, Mr. Kanye West, that was pretty fucking stupid.
By the way, can I throw something else in here at Kanye while he's talking about trees?
Sure.
You do understand that not only the Hebrew, but most cultures had the view of a world tree. In fact, we see this in Ezekiel specifically, but he's kind of referencing this concept of the world tree that Nebuchadnezzar kind of has. The dream alludes to a world tree concept where a world tree is what's, again, everyone had a flat earth idea, right? It's rooted in the earth. Its roots, though, go down into Sheol or and they are watered by the abyss, right? And the branches go up into heaven and they literally touch where God is. This is a concept that is spoken about in depth by pretty much every world culture. Has anyone ever seen this tree? We should be able to see this tree. People would have to fly around it. There's no world tree. And this is something flat earthers just don't want to talk about at all. If we're saying, hey, biblical concepts, the Hebrews and he wants to mention the Egyptians, they all thought the earth was flat. They all thought there was a world tree that goes up into heaven. Where is it? Why can't we see it? Why don't we have to navigate around it, sir?
Oh, yeah, like in Thor.
Yeah. Yggdrasil. Yeah.
Okay, if you're such a Bible expert, then explain this. Revelations chapter 7, verse 1. They be mentioning the 4 angels at the 4 corners of the earth and shit. I never seen the round earth have no motherfucking 4 corners. Yo, what do you have to say about that, Mr. McLean?
Well, again,
I think he got you there.
Well, here's the thing. It's a poetic language, but as you lovingly have in the background is the model flat earthers use, right? It's a disc. There ain't no corners on that one, Kanye.
Oh, damn. Burn, Jason. Burn. What do you got to say about that, Mr. Kanye West? Huh? You got any other points to make? Any counter punches there? You just got sucker punched, dude.
Hey, Donnie, here's something that your little Zionist friend doesn't tell you. The word NASA in Hebrew means to deceive. The deception being that space is real and that the earth is round. Don't be falling for Jason's bullshit. That motherfucker still believes in Bigfoot.
Damn.
Well, first of all, why does he keep bringing Bigfoot into this?
Like, he thinks that's insulting.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people believe in Bigfoot. And again, I don't believe. I am working off of available data. Yeah, so I actually, it tells me he didn't even watch my video because I addressed this. This is a very common flat earth lie.
You think Kanye West will be watching that shit?
I think it's very clear he doesn't watch or read much of anything. But I'll bring it back to my point. I talked about this in the video. This is a common thing that flat earthers talk about a lot, which is the word NASA means to deceive in Hebrew. That's a lie. That's not a misunderstanding. That's not a difference of interpretation. It's a flat out lie. The word that they point to that is transliterated is NASA is actually Nashah. That's the word that means to deceive. The word is Nashah. There is a word that also transliterates into NASA in English, and it actually sounds like NASA. It's Nasa. It literally means to bear up or elevate. So, Kanye, if Nasa actually means to bear up or elevate, does that mean we need to, I don't know, believe everything that comes out of NASA since it's Hebrew for bear up or elevate? Since you're trying to deceive us with the word Nasha?
Donnie, your boy over here, Jason McClain, he's a part of that NASA-loving establishment whose sole purpose is to pull the wool over our collective eyes. He's over here on his little channel preaching some motherfucking bullshit to the masses, trying to keep us common folk ignorant to the truth.
I think we've done enough of, I mean, Donnie, you and I have done videos together talking about why I don't trust any government agency.
Right.
We've talked about ad nauseum the connection between high technology and the occult. So clearly I'm not, but I find that I find it interesting, Kanye, that this is your go-to, your ad hominem attacks, because I've done nothing but present evidence, and you keep trying to attack me. You keep calling me a Zionist. You say I'm supporting NASA when I'm not. When I don't support it. I'm just observing things. I am pointing out history.
I feel like
what's going on here?
I feel like he's got a real axe to grind. Like he's got a real chip on his shoulder when it comes to you. I don't know, man. I think he's.
Yeah.
I think you got under his skin a bit.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. Getting under his skin isn't all that hard.
Hold on. Let's see what Kanye's got to say. Mr. West, do you have anything to respond to Mr. McLean here?
I think that's pretty fucking hypocritical of you, Mr. McLean, to be judging my ass. Meanwhile, you're over here going around on YouTube and shit talking with a bunch of motherfucking Bigfoot nerds about werewolves and shit. How you gonna be looking down on me for being a flat earther?
Okay, so I'm okay. Kanye, you have been nothing but belligerent this entire time. I have been trying to be polite.
Been a bit of a dick, dude.
You really have.
Bit of a
and to
dick.
be honest, you're just not is it just the ad hominem. The ad hominem would be enough, but I'm trying to have a constructive conversation here, and I don't need this from somebody who blew his own cousin. So how about you either tone it down and come back to reality, or you can go back to finding somebody else to blow.
Damn, you went there? Yeah, I blew my own cousin. But at least my cousin ain't no deceiver. At least I don't be sucking no NASA dick, Mr. McLean. At least I ain't sucking no Illuminati dick by spreading that round earth bullshit. Unlike you, sir. Listen, since the dawn of time, ancient people knew that the sun and moon traveled through the sky like clockwork. It wasn't until those motherfuckers at NASA came about in 1958 did all this bullshit hit our collective psyches. Now we're all walking around like a bunch of retarded sheep.
Okay, I've had
just called us retarded sheep.
I've had it up to here with this bullcrap that not just Kanye, but every flat earther says that somehow everyone knew the earth was flat until 1958, until NASA was created. And then everyone's like, okay, I guess it's round. No, this is the biggest load of crap. Like we just discussed, the Egyptians, and then the Egyptians knew the earth was round, and the Greeks proved it over 2,000 years ago. Because here's the thing. Let's start with the first lie of this model that they use, the model that you have in the background, right? That it's flat and it's a disc, and the sun and the moon move around in like a clockwork pattern. That is not how the ancients believed the earth worked. They all believed this very thing, that the sun and moon went, this is why we call it literally sunrise, went up, over, and then down, passed under the underworld, and then came back to the other side. Talk about this in my video. That was the concept everyone had. And there was no concept of an ice wall. There was mountains. Mountains are what held up this firmament. This is the big lie of modern flat earth, is that this is an ancient understanding. It is not. It is a very modern understanding. It was created by Samuel Rowbotham in the 1860s when he wrote the Zetetic Astronomy book under a pseudonym. I talk about this in length in my video. This is a new concept. The modern idea of flat earth is brand new, literally from the 1860s, because he had to account for for everything that we knew for the last 2,000 years, which is the sun and moon they travel. When you don't see them in the sky, they're somewhere else on Earth. The people on the other side of the Earth see the sun and moon. It doesn't go under the Earth and travel through the underworld. That's the way everyone believed. He is not preaching something ancient and something that was lost to the ages. He's preaching something some dude who accidentally poisoned his own kid and other people under a different name, by the way, believe.
For more information on that, folks, tune into Jason's show on him.
Yeah, I got into a lot of detail.
That guy.
The dude was a socialist cult leader. This is a very new idea. And here's the thing. If Samuel Rowbotham was correct, then everyone on the planet should be able to see the North Pole, meaning Polaris, the celestial North Pole. However, in the Northern Hemisphere, you can see the celestial North Pole and you can see all the stars moving around it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're around the equator, at a certain point, you don't really see the North Pole or the Northern Celestial Pole or Polaris. You can kind of see it a little bit, but the stars don't appear to move this way. They move overhead. And then if you go far enough into the South Pole, you can see the celestial Southern Pole. In a lot of flags for nations in the Southern Hemisphere, you see what's called the Southern Cross. It is a constellation that allows you to find the Southern Celestial Pole where all the stars seem to rotate around it. The sky does not behave like anything that Samuel Rowbotham's model would appeal to. So Kanye and all these other flat earthers are trying to talk about this ancient understanding when they don't have an ancient understanding. They have a very new understanding. And Samuel Rowbotham had to change the model completely. It's as foreign an idea as the heliocentric model is to the ancients. So Kanye, you can kiss my grits. I'm sick and tired of your lies. I'm sick and tired of your lies. I'm sick and tired of the flat earth lies, because you are the one who is deceiving people. And honestly, this whole attack at Bigfoot really feels like you're really mad about something else, because Bigfoot's got nothing to do with any of this. Why are you even talking about it? So not only are you lying, you're attacking a perfectly innocent hominid. And I take offense to that, sir. I take offense.
And Kanye West, do you have any actual points, or are you just going to keep attacking Jason like all ad hominem like that? Because that's a real advanced debate tactic. So yeah, you got anything to say for yourself, sir?
Jason over here acting like some motherfucking language expert. Meanwhile, how many languages do you actually speak, dog? One? Fucking typical, yo. Hey, Donnie, you can speak Korean, right?
Yeah, I speak a little Korean. Why?
내 친구는 멍청해. 그는 영어를 할 줄만 안다. 그것에 대해 어떻게 생각하세요?
You going to translate that, or are we going to leave, or was it what I think it was?
Well, let me just respond. 저의 생각은 우리 친구가 언어 하나밖에 할 수 없는데 그래도 똑똑해요. 공부도 많이 하고 성교도 잘 알고. He's basically saying you're fucking stupid for only speaking one language. Well, so I was like, I still think he's smart, you know?
Yeah. And again, how many languages can you speak? Well, it doesn't matter. That's irrelevant.
That's irrelevant.
Because you can speak all the languages on the earth doesn't mean you know how with the shape.
Yeah, make a decent argument, dude. You're coming in here like acting all belligerent like an asshole. And again, we're trying to have an intellectual conversation up in here.
Yeah, and at this point, we've proven you don't know history. You don't even know where you don't even know what Africa is. You don't, much less the Egyptians. You don't even know what the shape of a pyramid is. You've already lied about where the modern concept of flat Earth came from, and you've lied about about what the word NASA means. So, I mean, all you've done is
he also falsely claimed to be an Egyptian.
Yes, that's the other thing. Again, going back to you don't know what Africa even is. So, again, sir, I would like to point out that I've done nothing but present facts and a logical argument here, and you've done nothing but not only lie, but just do nothing but ad hominem attacks, and then apparently swear at everyone, including Bigfoot in Korean. So, sir, what do you have to say for yourself?
You know what? Fuck this. I didn't come on this show to take this abuse from some Bible-thumping Bigfoot nerd trying to get all up in my face with your quote-unquote facts and all that theology bullshit. Hey, Kim, where you at, girl? Let's bounce. Daddy's hungry for some hot dogs.
What?
Hey, baby. Sorry, I'm busy making another sex tape right now with the one and only Bigfoot. Can you believe this? Baby, you need to check this out. His dick is like 3 feet long. We're going to break the internet with this one, baby.
Well,
Okay.
I thought they were divorced.
I thought so too. Like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like this happened.
Maybe they got back together after that one lady who he showed up at the runway with all naked.
Yeah,
Maybe
all
she
naked.
left his ass.
Yeah.
Maybe he got back with her. I don't know.
Hold on. I think we understand why he's been talking about Bigfoot this whole time. I mean, because if Kim,
If she's boinking Bigfoot right now,
yeah, and do you think he's jealous that she's the one taking the 3-foot Bigfoot dog?
I mean, Kim does raise a good point though. She would break the internet with that.
She absolutely would. Yeah, he asked for I feel like the hot dogs was that he was talking about was definitely code.
Well, sometimes I like hot dogs.
Well,
I
think
like
we
a
all
good chili cheese dog.
Oh, everyone, yeah, no,
Yeah.
good chili cheese dog. Although, you know what? Have you ever had a nice hot link?
Like a sausage, like a kielbasa or whatever.
No. It's a hot link. Have you never had a hot link?
No.
Oh yeah, no. Okay. Next time you're down, I'll introduce you to a hot link. But yeah, I mean, maybe he's just talking about hot dogs. But I'm just sorry. But in context, particularly with what Kim said, I'm thinking it's not just his cousin he's blowing. Maybe it sounds like maybe he's a little jealous. Maybe not that Kim's getting it from Bigfoot, but rather that it's Kim getting it from Bigfoot. If you get my drift.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's why he's so fixated on you being a Bigfoot nerd.
He's jealous.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, Jason, I think Mr. West has freaking stormed out of here. But do you have any final thoughts on Flat Earth before we retire for the evening?
Yeah. The only thing I have to say is please leave the cult. The modern Flat Earth is a cult. It's a demonic cult. It makes you lie. It makes you lie about the Bible. It makes you lie about what we actually see in the world. And it makes you slander people.
And it makes you jealous of Bigfoot.
And it makes you jealous of Bigfoot. And apparently, very jealous of Bigfoot for very disturbing reasons, all things considered. So leave the cult. It is destroying you psychologically. It's destroying you morally. And that destroys you. Your witness in the world. Join reality. And apparently it also turns you racist, because let's be honest, a
bit of an asshole too.
To be honest, yeah. I don't think I've ever met a flat earther who wasn't a bit of a jerk.
I did think that what he did to Taylor Swift was kind of hilarious, though.
It was hilarious. I'm not saying it wasn't. I'm not saying that he doesn't have its moments.
Yeah.
But again, even a blind pig finds a truffle every once in a while.
That's a good saying to leave the show on. And with that, folks, I think we will bid you adieu. Please.
Jason McLean faces his arch nemesis. The earth is flat around his tonight's hypothesis. His enemy is the rapper Kanye West. The anti-Semitic MC is his test. Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. Tonight we find out which one is the best. Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. That flat earth bullshit is put to the test. Tonight, Jason unleashed his inner rage, gonna spank the Kanye West in the fight cage. The anti-Semitic flat earth rapper want to start you female, doesn't matter. Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. And we'll find out which one is the best. Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. That flat earth bullshit is put to the test. Tonight let Jason and Kanye fight. Flat earth put to the ultimate test. Hero versus rapper will test their might. Oh shit, says Donnie, the violent type. Dipping in Jesus' Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. Our goals are all our mark tonight, got time. Jason versus Kanye, McLean versus West. That flat earth bullshit is put to the test.